Welcome to Monument Matters, a podcast produced by the Monument Builders of North America for all things memorialization. Each episode is an extension of our monthly magazine, MB News. Monument Matters invites everyone to listen and share. You'll find all of the episodes on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
Hello, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of MBNA's Monument Matters, a podcast produced by the Monument Builders of North America for all things memorialization. I'm your host, Mike John, CM, AICA, from the John Scarabelli Company, Cimarano Monuments and Flowers in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. I'm also a past president of Monument Builders of North America. Today, I'm speaking with Sean Longstreth, CM, AICA, the newly inducted president of Monument Builders of North America. Sean is president of Longstreth Memorials in Galion, Ohio, which was founded in 1868. You got me beat there, Sean, by a couple of years. Sean and his wife Terry incorporated the business in 2003 and are working alongside their son Adam. I met Sean back in the mid-'70s, believe it or not, when our fathers served together on the board of Monument Builders of Ohio. Since then, Sean and I served together both on the board of Monument Builders of Ohio, following our fathers, and Monument Builders of North America. So good morning, Sean. Congratulations on your recent election, and welcome to our podcast.
Thanks, Mike.
Glad you could join us so bright and early on this
Yes.
rainy Cleveland day.
Appreciate that nice introduction. And we've known each other for many, many years.
We certainly have. Grew up in the business together, didn't we? I know that you're a fifth generation memorialist who, just like me, grew up sweeping floors and setting monuments. So how did early experiences shape the way you view the profession today?
Well, I did start at a young age. I even worked in high school, cleaning up the shop, rearranging it, sweeping the floors, doing the grunt work that was needed to be done. And then after that, I got into engraving the monuments, sandblasting, etc., and installing the monuments into the cemetery. Once I started installing it gave me an opportunity to meet a lot of the customers because they would be out at the cemeteries at the time we were installing their family monument. And it really was a wonderful situation. You felt so valued and that you helped that family so much. They would be crying, touching the monument, thanking me immensely. And at that point in time, that's when I figured out that's what I wanted to do with my life.
So looking back and looking at what you're doing today, what aspect of the business is the one that really resonates the most with you?
Well, that's hard to say, but I really did like crafting the monuments and working on them. That gave you a great feeling of accomplishment when you saw this beautiful work of art being placed in the cemetery and you knew it was going to be out there for a long, long time. So I really enjoyed that. But on the other hand, I also enjoy working with families and helping them out. The thank you letters and that you get after you've completed your job is immensely rewarding also.
It certainly is, for sure. You've attended MBNA conventions and MBL conventions, education sessions, and workshops throughout your career. Is there a particular experience or lesson from those, especially from MBNA, that has had a lasting impact on you and your business or your business?
Well, that's another tough question. MBNA has immensely helped my personal growth as a memorialist, my staff, my business. I would say personally, the designing portion and the many classes I took in memorial design and teaching me and my staff how to make a memorial tribute for a family is probably one of the greatest things I got out of it. But it has helped with sales, marketing, even this new PR sales kit is is great. We're diving into that, and we even have a team working on little avenues of the PR toolkit to better our marketing and better how we project ourselves.
Awesome. I think that, oftentimes we're asked, what's the ROI for being a member? And, as an organization, we try really hard to have programs and features and those kind of things. But I think at the end of the day, for me, beyond all of those, it's these relationships that we built. You and me, all kinds of friends that I've met and made long-lasting friendships over the years by associating with other folks in the industry. And I'm sure you share the same experience.
Oh, absolutely. Met so many, and I call you all friends. Even though we're in the same business, I can pick up the phone and call anyone or send an email out to several different people. And the skill set of our membership, somebody, if I got a problem with a monument stain, I know who to send that to. If I have a marketing question, I may ask another member. There's just all kinds of resources in the same way. If people call me, I pick up the phone, I talk to them, and we talk through whatever the issue is.
Awesome. So that segues perfectly into my next point. During that MB University business meeting, you made a strong call to members to personally invite others to join MBNA. Why do you believe that kind of personal outreach is so important to grow our association?
Well, I know MBNA does a good job in sending emails out to non-members, sending samples of the magazine, social media posts, but I still believe the best way to get a member to join is picking up the phone or personally visiting them. I've even talked to my competitors about becoming members because I think it just elevates the whole memorial industry. So if I pick up the phone and call, and I used to do this as a trustee of MBNA, and just start some dialogue, you're able to talk to these people just like I'm talking to you, Mike, about what MBNA has done for me, and also answer any questions to that person personally, answer any objections, and I think that's the way we can build this membership. If everybody just call one person, it would help immensely.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything better than a personal connection, and I'm sure you'll agree it's not a lot different than standing up in front of a Rotary Club meeting and asking for volunteers for a project. The best ask is a one-on-one ask, right?
That's correct.
Um, so the monument industry benefit blends craftsmanship, tradition, and business. From your perspective, what are the biggest opportunities for monument builders right now?
Well, that's tough because we all look that there's a lot of challenges in this business right now, whether it's cremation, cemetery restrictions. Those are the two things that pop to my mind.
Uh-huh.
But if we look at cremation, let's start with that and come up with a plan that we not only continue to put up personalized tributes for people that bury a cremation in a cemetery, but come up with other unique ways to memorialize that person. If we can do that and start memorializing everyone as they should be, then we could change that item that we think is negative into a positive and really grow our industry.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you could look at these things as negatives and be frustrated by them, or you look at them as opportunities and say, okay, how can I turn this to my advantage and use this not only to benefit myself and my company, but the customers who are in that experience, right? Um, I don't think that disposition or, whether or not you're cremated or full burial or whatever, changes the fact or the importance of having a memorial for that life, right?
Absolutely. And as I mentioned with these, cemeteries putting down regulations that do not allow for personal storytelling memorialization. If you go to them and you show them what the public really wants, they may change that. We've had some success with that, which has allowed us to go from putting in all lawn level markers to uh, a cemetery putting up an upright memorial section.
Yeah, I think that getting people to understand people from their point of view is what this is all about, right? You think that my way is the right way, but until you're involved and until you can, sit back and look at a situation from someone else's perspective and see, hey, maybe there's some wiggle room here. Maybe I don't have this right. Maybe there is something to changing the rules and listening to the customers and really finding the common ground. That's what we're about. That's what MBNA is about. Um, that's what interaction's supposed to be about, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And as an industry, we can really attack these things if we all get together.
Right. So I appreciate the fact that you're telling me that all these are tough questions, but heavy is the head that wears the crown, as they say. So, I know you're up for the challenge, and uh, as much as I've known you over the years, I know that you're going to do a great job as president, for sure. So, as you begin your term as MBNA president, what would success look like to you 1 year from now, both for the association and for our industry?
Well, first of all, for the association, as I've said previously, is building our membership. We need more retail members. We need more vendors. That I think would be very successful. Um, we need also to have more members involved. And you get as much out of MBNA as you put in. Not only just joining and paying your dues, but get involved, talk to people, um, get on, listen to the webinars, read the magazine, and start networking with all of us. If we can build a strong organization, our whole business model as far as monument retailers will grow. As far as the industry, the biggest thing I would like to see is to get the public to understand when they're choosing a monument for their family member, they need to go to a monument retailer, a monument builder, not a reseller or somebody that does it as a sideline. Um, and we need to focus on the public understanding how we work. We meet with the family, we design a personal tribute, and we build a quality product that's there forever. And we need to allow them to understand or teach them that it's their benefit if they come see one of us than somebody else.
Absolutely. I totally agree. So, your goals are uh, increase membership and increase involvement. So, why are those so critical, do you think?
Well, because we will make ourselves more relevant. With more members, we got a bigger voice. The other thing is there's probably, well, I know there is a lot of monument retailers that are not in the association that they could learn from us and we could learn from them. Saying that, just because you're a member of MBNA, you're more knowledgeable than somebody else. Of course, the training's great, but if we could get more members in here, I know that they could help the organization through teaching, through ideas, etc.
Yeah, I would say that MBNA members aren't necessarily more knowledgeable than non-members, but they have access to more knowledge and more resources, right? And that's the part that I think people miss. And I don't want to sit here just like you said. I don't want to say, hey, MBNA members are the smartest people in the room, because that's not necessarily the case. Um, you mentioned, you get out of MBNA what you put into it, but I would argue that for every one, whatever that is, you put into it, you get 2 or 3 back, right? It's just amazing how the interaction and the connection, um, the return is exponential, right? And I'm sure that's been your experience, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's never been a convention or a education session or even a webinar that I haven't attended that I don't get one great idea out of it. And most of the time I said, I never thought of that. And it's really amazing. So MBNA has just taught me so much in my career, and it's I think my business wouldn't be what it is without it.
Yeah. One of the hats you've worn was chair of the education committee, and so it's refreshing to hear a perspective like that. Here's a fella who's responsible for providing the educational content of the association with his team, not just alone. But here he sits and says, all that aside, I'm learning more than I've contributed. So take note, folks. If you're not a member,
Absolutely.
dip a toe. Come and see what we're all about. All right, Sean. So being that you are king of the castle right now, chief cook and bottle washer, got a great support staff, not only through the volunteers on the board, but also the association management company that we partner with, and all of their folks. Um, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to say, what is it? What What are you doing? Where are you going? What do you want to say that I haven't asked you? You've got the floor.
Well, you just brought it up. MBNA right now is well, it's always been, but the board is fantastic. Um, the entire MBNA board is very active. They're on the spot. We're developing all kinds of new education tools, all kinds of new member benefits. Second of all, our management company is great. Their expertise really helps guide the organization. That's why I say we need to build membership, because right now we have so much to offer any prospective member. I'll go to the new PR toolkit. These webinars I listen to, they're fantastic. I know that anybody can listen to those, but they are MBNA based. The magazine has so much to learn in it. I could go on and on. Our affinity programs are targeted now more for member benefits. So uh, now is the time to join, get involved, and keep building this organization so it's here for generations after you and me, Mike.
Yep. And I think we're doing our part. Your son is following in your footsteps. My son is following in my footsteps. That's not an uncommon thing in our industry. And I would also say to those of you who have been members in the past that say, yeah, I don't need MBNA. That was then, and this is now. And I can tell you, from my many years of experience on the board and being associated with the board, I can honestly say that this association is much, much different and much stronger than it was just a couple of years ago. So if you haven't been a member lately, you don't know what you're missing. So please, I do encourage you to take another look, right?
You're absolutely correct, Mike. It's a well-oiled machine right
It
now.
is. It definitely is, and not in any small part to your involvement. So thank you for that, Sean.
No, well, thank you. But MBA isn't one person; it's the organization, and the leadership is really responsible, and the members.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another really valid point. There's the leadership and there's the membership, but the leadership is made up of the members, by the members, for the members. The tasks, the plans, all that the board does is really in response to the needs of the members. So if you are a member and you feel like your needs are not being met, you need to speak up because we want to hear about it. If you're not a member, I'm sure your needs aren't being met, even though you might not realize it. So I encourage you, again, to come and find out what you've been missing.
Yes.
All
It's
right. Well, I think we're just about out of time. So I'd like to thank my good friend, Sean Longstreth, for sharing with me and our audience today. I wish you all the best during your year as president and beyond, and I hope that you find your presidential experience as rewarding as I did. The April issue of MB News is a recap of MB University with photos from the pre-conference workshop, the exhibit hall, and education sessions. I encourage you to read this issue, and if you have a topic you'd like to have covered in a future podcast, please leave a comment. So thank you for listening to today's installment of Monument Matters. MBNA invites you to stay connected through Facebook and LinkedIn, or visit us at www.monumentbuilders.org for upcoming events and webinars. For MBNA and Monument Matters, I'm Michael Johns. Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen. Again, if you found this content worthwhile, please share the link with a friend. For comments and feedback, we'd love to hear from you as well, so please drop a note to info@monumentbuilders.org. And please remember that to mark your calendars now, because the 2027, man, I can't believe it, Monument Industry Show will be in Mobile, Alabama, February 25th to 28th. Believe me, you're not going to want to miss it. So thanks again for joining us. Have a great day.